Welcome back, everybody. Here we've got John Chambers against Phil Parkin. John with first chance at these. Was a thumping pot from John Chambers. But these yellows are still tricky.
The old John Chambers. I used to play professionally with John several years ago. His brother as well, Rob, who's also in this tournament. Two outstanding players, the Chambers brothers, and great characters as well, good mates.
Yeah, two really good lads as well. Really good people to be around. I spent a small amount of time in John's company, and yeah, always a pleasure. Tricky finish this, and it'll be a real statement if he can get them. Oh, how's your cueing?
He's a great potter. Really, really fabulous potter is John.
How is your cueing?
Not scared to take on finishes, this fellow. And this black for an incredibly good start. Awesome.
What a finish. What a finish.
Yeah, just fabulous play from John Chambers. Always enjoys it out in the main arenas. Just a great player to watch. A great addition to Ultimate Pool is John.
Yeah, and what I think as well is what I really like about John is he said it to us on the Champions League a few weeks back when he won through his group. He's not quite exactly channeling his inner Conor McGregor, where he's like, I'm not here to take part, I'm here to take over. But he's not far off that. You know, he's come into this Pro Series, and it's not like he's saying, "Oh, I'm going to win events straight away." But he has said, "Well, I'm not here just to take part in the Pro Series. I'm here to win tournaments. You know, I feel like I'm good enough to win tournaments, and that is what I want to do." I don't think he's going to come in and all of a sudden, you know, be the next Tom Cousins, but he's going to be in the conversation to win these titles, because you can just see how good he is, how confident he is. And I think from John's perspective, the more he sort of applies himself to the game, as he will this year because he's on the Pro Series, you know, he can dedicate that time and sort of get himself back to a level where he feels like he's competitive. I think he's going to get even more dangerous as the years go on, and as the year goes on. And, you know, he already looks pretty good.
He's a momentum player. If he gets in the flow, John Chambers, he's hard to stop. He's just a wonderful cueist. But he's very, very quick as well. He's fluid.
Oh, we saw that in the first frame. I mean, that finish was sort of low-key, pretty special. You almost get a little bit... We've watched 3 matches so far this morning, 2 in the women's event and the first one in the main draw here with Ross Smith and Matt Cook. I think it's safe to say if any of those had taken out the clearance that John took out in the first frame, it would have, you know, blown me away. But John's just at that level where he's got that in the locker. It's not a surprise when he does it, but you still can sit back and admire it. This has been a hell of a start from John Chambers. Phil Parkin has been glued to his seat. You can't do anything about this in Phil Parkin's position. This has been pretty special from John Chambers. A statement if ever there was one. And this is a really important match for him as well. The group is pretty tight. He's played 3. This is his last game. He has won 2 and lost 1. He beat Jake Cooper 5-3. He lost to Jaspal Bandal, one of the Challenger Series champions from last season. Jaspal getting the win 5-2 there over John. And then he beat Dan Duffield 5-4, which could have maybe even put him out if he'd have lost that decider. And you could argue his toughest game is last in Phil Parkin, who is 2-0 currently. So Phil has a little bit of leeway, in the sense of if he loses, it's not the end of the world. But John Chambers is about to finish his campaign here in the group stages, and he has to win this game. Phil Parkin still has one more to play. He'll play Jaspal Bandal later on this evening, which may well be, were John to win this, a winner-takes-all match. But Phil won't be thinking about that because, talk about John being here to win, Phil's exactly the same. You'd struggle to find anyone on the series who sort of has as much self-belief as Phil Parkin does. He really does back himself against absolutely anybody. Talked about him a lot on Monday night. He played with us in the Champions League a few days ago. It did not go his way that night. Champions League, as it has a tendency to do, can chew you up and spit you out without you really doing a whole lot wrong. Reached a pro final last year, did the power. And he will be itching to go one better this season. Really like the way he's gone about these. Almost played a poor shot a couple ago where he was a bit tight on the yellow to the right centre, but he's okay now. He's back in good shape. Just float this in off the thick side of the jaw, just to hold for the yellow to bottom left. And now it's about where you want your 8 ball, because it is a little tricky.
Well, he's opting for the long black into the top right-hand corner. That was loose.
Oh, it was. That was a bit of a nervy shot, I felt.
He didn't fancy it. It just looked like he didn't fancy it. When he got down, it was just, I don't know. 3 or 4 shots ago, he played a shot and he just cannoned into one of those, the red that's nearest to where you wrap the balls up. And that pushed it in front of the black, because the black before that was available into the centre as well. So I think that slightly, it did annoy him. And it also stopped him, because all the other balls he didn't have a chance to kick it back out again. He just had to take his medicine. He had to have that long pot, and he really, really didn't want it. So now John Chambers with the chance he probably didn't expect to get.
Oh, he'll smell blood here.
Oh, he's a showman, John. I mean, get him out in the arena and he's a danger. You put him out, if you were to put him out in the other arena where all the tables are, let's put quietly in a corner out the way of everybody, he won't perform. But when you get him out here, centre stage, the stakes are raised. And with that, you get his best pull.
Yeah, it's a good habit to have. He will need a little bit of both. He can't quite get away with just playing on the arena table. Probably even if your name's Tom Cousins, although he's probably as close as it gets to being the number 1 draw. But it's interesting, some players almost pride themselves on being the back table battlers, and if you're on corner table at 11 o'clock in the morning. They're like, welcome to my world. But John Chambers is the opposite, you reckon, Tony?
Yeah, I do indeed. No, he relishes playing in front of a crowd and the cameras out there. Loves it. Loves it. You know, I watched him play in the Champions League as well. Watched that evening, and it was no surprise to me to see how well he played out there.
No, well, the first time he played with Ultimate Pool was on the Masters, the first ever Ultimate Pool Masters, I think it was. Maybe memory's not what it used to be, Tony. I think it was the second tournament.
No, I'm David.
Yeah, because he had to play. I think he knocked out Shane Thompson in that event, and that was a Shane Thompson who was, you know, at that point, absolutely flying. Like, he was the man at the time. And, you know, John just came in and just looked like he just completely belonged, even though he'd never even played with Ultimate Pool before. He strikes me as a guy who has the ability to just sort of rock up and cause a bit of carnage. And I think that's what he might do in the Pro Series this year. He's certainly a draw that no one will fancy. Not that there's many of those, but... So the red closest to the 8 ball is fine. The red just to the left of it is a little finicky. Oh, does it pass the yellow? Well, that helps.
Yep, it's going to creep past, but he's going to have a very tough shot coming right after it.
Yeah, this is... You know, I'll say it. I think this red in a moment, I think he's about to take on, is essentially match ball. I think if he nails this, he might even win it 5-0. But this feels like the swing moment in the match. Close but no cigar. Yeah, big moment for Phil Parkin now. That's why I talked about it being a swing moment. It could have been a huge moment for John. Sort of feel like if he gets it, he's done with that visit, 4-0 in front. But now Phil, with a big opportunity to get himself back in contention in this game.
Nice angle now for Phil. Just wants to get the cue ball up top and left side of those two yellows. And that'll just about do it. That's pretty good.
Just about perfect, I think. I like that as well. It's a nice little touch, little flourish at the end of the visit, just to make his work easy. I mentioned this on Monday night, but when Phil gets going, and this may be the frame that gets him going in this match, but when he gets going, there's few more entertaining players anywhere on the tour. I love the way he plays. So aggressive and attacking. He's got quite unconventional patterns, I'd say, sometimes. He takes routes that maybe others wouldn't, but he backs himself to the absolute hilt. And he's such a fun player to watch.
So Phil Parkin comes out, frame number 5. He's going to break off. It's the yellow into the centre, and these are all there. Wide open yellows.
Yeah, that miss from John could be big. And it's not like it was... It's not like it was an easy shot. It was obviously a ridiculously difficult one. But he's that sort of player, John. He sort of lives by the sword, dies by the sword. Gate knew he was going to leave himself that shot. That was the route that he planned out. You know, in the first frame of the match, he pumped in a similar ball at 1,000,000 miles an hour down the rail, didn't he? So he's definitely got it in the locker.
These two gentlemen are racing along with these frames. Now it's 3-2. That's 5 frames in less than 12 and a half minutes.
Well, they both play at a pretty good lick. Phil's definitely one of the quickest players on the circuit. Yeah, I thought when I saw this match drawn for the TV pick today, I thought, oh yeah, let me have a little bit of that. It's a great game.
Yeah.
We see a little glimpse into the main players' room there. It's just behind our main arena. Action in the Women's British Open still continuing after a couple of round of matches this morning. John sticking with that cut break. And well, how the turntables. Tony Holgate, dear viewer, is looking at me like, are you sure? That's not the phrase. But I'm not sure that Tony's ever watched the US Office.
I have.
Oh! It was a knowing look, not a what are you talking about look, which is what it looked like to me.
No, it was a knowing look, yes.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I thought you were going to admonish me in front of
I
everyone.
just thought it was too early in the day for that. Normally it's an evening sort of standard of a one-liner. But of course, Stephen Jameson does never take any notice of those sort of things. It's JMO time.
No,
so he can say things when he likes and what he likes.
Yeah, I don't live by the rules,
Exactly. I've known you to come in way past midnight now and again with your tie slightly askew. You rule breaker, you.
The funny thing is, for those who know neither of us as people, they'll actually believe what you're saying.
Well, it's all true. And what is true is Phil Parkin could be getting back to all square after being 3-0 down. Because he is playing some exceptional stuff now. I mean, what a great game it's been. Let's just say that. There's been some fantastic potting and great finishing.
Yeah, and this is what I talk about. When Phil fizzes, he's such a brilliant player to watch. Just look at that. What a shot. And I never doubted him for that shot. That 8 ball that he missed, I think it was frame 2, which let John in sort of to go 3-0 in front with a couple of frames in the bag. Phil, he wasn't quite at full Phil at that stage. He needed that first frame on the board. But since he's got that, it just gives him a jolt, doesn't it? And
yeah, it was just an edgy one to start with. Because he didn't want to be taking on that black. The balls now, that he wants to be taking these balls on. So he's now in full flow. And what a great match we're having here. We're 3-all. And how quick it's gone. Yeah. Well, it's only about 6-7 minutes ago that he was 3-0 down.
Yeah, Phil in full flight. This is a cracker. Game of the day so far, without question. And if you're wondering what we've still got to come for the rest of the day, there is a little glance. We'll see Jaden Billingham versus Rob Warren next. That's a great game. Sean Sharkey, Stevie Dempsey, Carl O'Donoghue, Phil Harrison to follow. So now's a pretty good time to strap in for a few hours, because I mean the next 3 games are hopefully will be as good as this one.
Yeah, Sean Sharkey, Stevie Dempsey will be an interesting all-island affair. Teammates as well.
Well, roommates quite often as well. They know each other very well. Yeah, doubles partners.
And their buddy Carl O'Donoghue coming straight after them as well.
Yeah, Carl O'Donoghue flying in this event so far. He's won all his matches. And he runs into Phil Harrison, who he also played on his original Ultimate Pool debut. And that was Carl O'Donoghue's first match with UP. And he had a year out. I missed him greatly personally. So good to have him back on the circuit and showing us just what a good player he is. Just a joy to watch at the minute is Phil Parkin.
Just slightly the wrong side of this red. He'd have loved to have got another roll out of that cue ball.
He would have.
Well, because if he'd have had the angle, so he would have just screwed down a little bit and make this really easy. But the way he's potting, you wouldn't expect him to miss at the moment.
Yeah, just rock solid. He was 3-0 down 10 minutes ago. And now look at that scoreline. Phil Parkin leads 4 frames to 3. The power has well and truly been turned on in the British Open. Well, welcome back to the party, John Chambers. He needed to find a break there, and he has. And you can see in the pace that he's going to try and take these out. He's not going to hang about on these.
Well, for me, I think this match deserves to go to the wire. Really does.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, to be honest with you. I'd say completely neutral in this matchup, but yeah, I think the way John started, the way he's been shut out since, despite not really doing a whole lot wrong other than missing a ridiculously tough ball, I feel like it deserves the decider. It's been a belter. I mean, we've got 12 minutes left and we may well be heading into the deciding frame.
Lovely little shot there by John Chambers, using the yellow dead just to push the red over so you can get an angle as well onto this up in the top left-hand corner. Perfect. Just slide behind this yellow now and have the black in the bottom left. And we are going to a 1-frame decider.
What a great match this has been. This has been so good. Hope you've enjoyed it at home. I know me and Tony are having a lovely old time in the commentary box, just watching 2 great players just like rock 'em sock 'em robots. They've just sort of they've just gone hammer and tong at each other. You know, John blitzed the start, missed a really, really hard ball down the rail. Then Phil goes, "Oh, cheers, I really needed that." Whammed 4 in a row. Now John, after taking all that punishment, gets a ball off his break and rattles in a minute clearance.
Well, I think they've missed 1 ball each. John missed that really tough red down the rail, and obviously Phil Parkin missed that black early doors, which was length of the table a little bit cushed up before it settled. But since then, well, take those 2 away, and as they shake hands, it's been an absolute, it's just been a dish fest.
Yeah, it's not just been a dish fest, it's been high level as well.
Absolutely.
They've not been like dolly finishes. They both of them have played some really good stuff. Brilliant break from Phil Parkin. All John Chambers is thinking right now is give him an awkward finish, give him some work to do. I think he does have work to do. But it's a presentable opportunity, that's for sure.
Well, you just tell by his expression on his face that he's, you know, sort of shrug of the shoulders, and he does have a couple of awkward balls. He hasn't decided what colour he's going to choose yet either.
As long as Phil's taken over a shot in the whole match, and he's going to use the extension as well.
Rightly so.
I think yellows will be the ball. Oh,
He tried to push into the red up there as well. He tried to do 2 things in one, and it didn't quite happen. So this is now tricky. The other thing is, reds look really nice.
Yeah, you've played 1 shot, and all of a sudden your opponent's balls look brilliant, don't they?
Yeah, you just want to burst into tears.
Phil Parkin, if he is to win this match, you feel like he's got to pull something out the fire here. If John Chambers gets to the table, you would absolutely fancy him to clear up if he gets a clear chance. All you want in the decider is for both players to have a go, and both players are going to have a go.
Is that the first safety shot in this match?
Yeah. It absolutely is. And Phil absolutely had to play it.
There's a look of intent.
Yeah, he looks fired up, doesn't he, Phil? Been a brilliant watch, this. The issue for John is now Phil's yellows all go. The 2 that are together, the interior one does go into the bottom left. He wants that reds to cover.
He is short.
He really wanted that red to cover. I think it was the right shot, but a bit of poor execution. The only positive for John is that yellow at the top left is going to become a slightly bigger problem because Phil's going to lose a connection. Because I think the ball he's going to play next will be the one to left centre. So that ball top left is the life raft that John Chambers is clinging to in this frame and in this match and even in this tournament. Because if John Chambers loses, there is every chance that he is not making it into the 64 draw. He would need some results to go his way.
Oh, he tried to just kick that red, and you saw Phil there trying to lean himself into it, playing the body swerve shot, trying to move the cue ball with your body as it's sailing around the table.
Well, this just got really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, Phil. I mean, can he cut this? Does this pot?
Oh, that's obscene.
You better believe it does.
Absolutely obscene shot.
Oh, Phil. We've seen it before. He's got form for the spectacular, but I mean, that's silly.
That's the best shot I've seen this weekend. That is incredible.
It'll take some topping. Phil Parkin, 2024's ultimate pool clearance of the year, with an early entry in 2025. And he gets the win in the decider over John Chambers, who now is right up against it in the British Open. John needs results to go his way if he's to qualify through into the 64. But for Phil Parkin, what a performance. Played absolutely brilliantly in that match. nice to see there, a little bit of respect. That's Rob Chambers, John's brother, just dissecting that matchup with him. That was so much fun. Looking forward to speaking to Phil in just a moment. Here's the shot again. I mean, wowee. The pot's one thing, but the fact that he's plumb on the next one, just amazing.